going on, YouTube? Remember, I've told people that they're coming for your children, and I was told to quit posting things like that because, I'm part of the problem. I guess being part of the problem is trying to expose what they're doing to our children. But as you can see, I'm going to play a video for you of things that they're teaching our children.
The ability to make a mask mandate, and tonight I was going to talk about the need for a second high school, but I was sidetracked by, for the boys, or the idea of pussy. A Mexican is a Mexican is a Mexican. Take her out back, we boys figured, then hand on the put it in her coin box, put it in her cornhole, grab a hold of that braid, rub that calico. You can find that on page 39 of the book called Out of Darkness, which you can find at Hudson Bend Middle School and Bee Cave Middle School. All right.
Really? And that's what they're teaching our children? You want to see what the fucking problem is in America? Look no further than your schools.
Right? Not gonna lie, I had to Google cornhole because I have the game in the back of my yard. But according to Wikipedia, cornhole is a sexualist slang vulgarism for anus. The term came into the use in the 1910s in the United States as verb form to cornhole, which came into usage in the 1930s, means to have anal sex. I do not want my children to learn about anal sex in middle school. I've never had anal sex. I don't want to have anal sex. I don't want my kids having anal sex. I want you to start focusing on education and not public health.
Stone, you're on. Marge.
Last week I asked my children if I could check the books that they've picked up from the school. My son picked up this brand new book from the shelves in class, Lawn Boy. He was under the impression it was about a kid that ends up with a gig mowing the grass at Disneyland. I'd like to share a few quotes with you. This first one, just turn it around. On page 19, not that it really matters in 4th grade, at a church youth group meeting out in the bushes, I touched Doug Goebel's dick and he touched mine. In fact, there was even some mouths involved. Next one, page 91. What if I told you I touched another guy's dick? What if I told you I sucked it? I was 10 years old, but it's true. I put Doug Goebel's dick in my mouth. I was in 4th grade. It was no big deal. He sucked mine too. And you know what? It wasn't terrible. Page 174. If I made a sign for this one. Yeah, I did. He talked about old times at the church, but never mentioned our penises or the fact that he never said 10 words to me after our little foray in the bushes. Not a single reference to holding or tugging or sucking dick. All I could think about while he was chatting me up was his little salamander between my 4th grade fingers, rapidly engorging with blood. Page 230. I didn't make a sign for this. Why won't you admit we sucked each other's dick? We shared a Hershey's bar, then you showed me your dick. The next thing I know, it's in my mouth. We sucked each other's dick, and you're pretending it didn't happen. What sort of diversity are you intending to teach my child with material like this? In addition, I'll share with you the exceptional quality of vocabulary. I stopped counting on page 66 after 44 and 41. The depravity of the content on the shelves in our schools cannot be mitigated with policy EF. At this point, I need you to know that according to policy FFH, hold this one please, local sexual harassment is defined as unwanted sexual advances, sexually motivated verbal, non-verbal conduct or other conduct or communication of a sexual nature when the conduct is so severe, persistent, or pervasive that it affects the student's ability to participate in or benefit from an educational program or activity or otherwise adversely affects the student's educational opportunities or creates an intimidating, hostile, educational environment. What sort of educational environment do you think the plethora of sexually graphic books selections create for my children or for any child for that matter? I won't go into my...
I've been warning people for years that the schools was doing this shit to our children. But because I don't wear a suit and a tie, and I don't have glasses on, and I don't have a degree and a bunch of fucking letters behind my name, I'm just a dumbass conspiracy theorist Well, I want to let you know, America, so far, everything that I have fucking said has been going on is going on.
Fourth grade daughter,
They're
but
coming for your children.
We don't, this is not a thing for fourth graders. Who normalizes sex acts between fourth graders? I'll tell you who. Pedophiles.
Yeah, pedophiles. Motherfucking sick-ass people that like having sex with children. That is who's fucking teaching our children shit. Plus a bunch of Marxist communist cocksuckers.
So it's fortuitous that you invited the Leander Police Department to visit tonight so that we can talk about.
All right, we have speaker number 23.
Notice how the school board keeps silencing these parents because you know what? You have no rights. You have no choice. You have our choice. This is what we're teaching your children. This is what we're going to do to your children. And there ain't a damn thing you're going to do about it. If you care about your children, you'll fucking pay attention to what they're being taught. You'll look at every book the school has that your child has access to. If not, who cares, right?
Mr. Zero, write a sex scene you wouldn't show your mom. Rewrite the sex scene from above into one that you'd let your mom read. Describe your favorite part of a man's body using only verbs. Describe a time when you wanted to orgasm but couldn't. You've just been caught in bed by a jealous spouse. How would you talk your way out of this? Write a sermon for a beloved preacher who has been caught in a sex scandal. 10 euphemisms for sex. You're a brand new suicide hotline counselor. Describe how you feel during the course of your first call. Write a letter from the point of view of a drug addict. Drink a beer. Write about the taste. Write an X-rated Disney scenario. A room full of people who want to sleep together. The first time you had sex. Choose how you will die. Write a scene that begins, "It was the first time I killed a man." You have a dream that you murdered someone. Who is it? How and why did the murder happen, and what happens afterwards? You are a serial killer. What TV shows are on your DVR list, and why? I hope each and every one of you is as uncomfortable as I am after reading that. Now, imagine you are 17 and in a room full of peers with an adult teacher. How do you feel now? This is what Hudson teachers are asking our children to write about. When these topics are encouraged and read by adults, that is pedophilia.
And what does any of those topics have to do with a goddamn thing with preparing children for life? Absolutely zero. Not a damn thing. Besides normalizing pedophilia so that the sick motherfuckers can have access to our children. Wake your heads out. Pull your heads out of your asses and wake the fuck up, America. This ain't just America. This is the entire world. I can guarantee you the entire world is being taught this shit.
And this is happening on your watch. This is grooming, and all of you need to be replaced. While you have dedicated yourselves to woke social justice and failed medical experiments, you have been found sleeping on the job. This book has been in our schools for 6 years. 6 years!
Why does it take 6 years for shit like this to come to light for people? I don't get it. But I do believe that every parent needs to look at every piece of material that them kids are reading and learning and being showed.
You have allowed the sexualization of our youth and grooming material to be approved for classroom content. I have a copy of the Code of Ethics you all swore to abide by. Codes 0123R. Select sound instructional strategies and materials and submit them to regular and impartial evaluations. Are you telling me this book was submitted and approved? If not, then how can you expect us to believe that CRT will not be taught in our schools? If it was approved, how can we trust anything you are teaching our children? By the following board meeting, I want to know what the consequences were for providing this material to our children, and the following questions.
Who will be terminated over this book?
No one.
Where was the book purchased from? Who made the decision to use the book? Who is responsible in selecting the book? What teachers have been using this book? And each and every one of you should be ashamed.